What's up, everybody, and welcome to Inside Brooklyn, right here in Brooklyn, New York. I am so excited to be here. We have a really wonderful show for you guys today, and for those folks that don't know what Inside Brooklyn is, this is our podcast that we do to spotlight some of the creatives and the local business owners and people in the community that are making a difference right here in Brooklyn. So we base this in the Brooklyn Commons. We have two locations. There's the Flatbush location and the Bushwick location. We are in the Flatbush location right now, but we talk to members and people inside and outside of Brooklyn just to make sure that we get a little bit of everybody. I'm very excited to be joined today by my favorite co-host, Kristen, and we have special guest, Jesse Tendler, who's with us as well, and we're going to give him an opportunity to talk about himself, but just a quick little snapshot. Jesse has over 30 years in the entertainment industry, so we're talking television, movies, theater, all that kind of stuff. And he's also got 4 businesses, so he has a ton of insights to give us and just information on how he manages to juggle all of these things and still, keep his sanity. So I'm very, very excited to welcome you to the show today. How are you doing?
Thank you very much for having me. Happy to be here.
Yes, definitely. So, all right, I gave them just a teensy little bit of information on who you are and, and the things that you have going on. But why don't you give everybody a background on where you grew up and how you got to where you are today?
Sure, the bridge history.
Yes.
So I actually started acting professionally when I was 3.5 years old. I was living in
Overachiever
at the time. Yeah.
What was I doing at 3.5?
And I just was at the right look at the right time, and I was really well behaved, and somehow at the age of 4 I could memorize scripts and take direction.
Okay.
And so I just started working maybe and did 100 national network commercials and was a regular on several TV shows, and several movies, and guest starring roles on TV shows, and it was amazing. I loved it. And then when I got to high school, I kind of quit. It was just nope, I'm done. Can focus on academics. Went to college for engineering and business. Material science, engineering, and management and marketing were my majors. And while I was...
So 4 businesses and 4 majors. That's
So basically, we're underachievers. Okay, that's great.
So while I was at college, though, I got involved with this sketch comedy group called the Mask and Wig Club. And I was part of the cast of that group, the sketch comedy, musical sketch comedy, and kind of rediscovered my love for performing. And so by the time I was, I think, in my 3rd year of that 5-year program that I was in, I sort of knew that after I graduated, I was going to go back to acting in the entertainment world. Mm-hmm. So once I graduated, that's exactly what I did. And I started tutoring to support myself as an actor. And then about 12.5 years ago, I started a production company. Because I wanted to create more work for myself as an actor, so I started producing.
What is your company called?
It's called Intimation Productions.
Intimation Productions, okay.
Yes, Intimation Productions. And it originally started off as a theater company, actually, and then I quickly transitioned over more to film. And over years of producing film work, I've produced 5 features and a bunch of short films and a couple of web series and
documentaries as well, right?
Yeah, I'm working on a couple of documentaries right now, actually. I've done some short form notes in the past too. And after doing all of that for many years, I realized that producing was actually taking me away from acting, which was my true passion.
You're behind the camera instead of in front of it.
Yeah. So I sort of had to extricate myself from producing, and I still do produce, but I only produce now on projects that I'm involved in creatively. So if I'm acting in it, or I'm directing it, or I had a hand in writing it, then I'll produce on it. But otherwise, I'm no longer a producer for hire, except for very short-term commercial work.
Okay.
But long, indie feature films, only producing if I'm acting or directing.
Minimal involvement, that's what I'm... Okay.
So let me take you back a little teeny bit, because
Sure.
you said you were in hundreds of commercials, and then by the time you got to high school, you quit.
Yeah.
So was school for you difficult? Were people recognizing you hey, you're the serial kid or something like that, and giving you that unnecessary attention? What was that like for you?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was good in some ways and bad in others. I still was going to my town's public school, so I was out a lot because I was filming a lot. And when I was working on longer term projects, to film a series, I would have to have tutors, just because that's the law.
Yeah.
So then I would go back to school again, and it was a little weird with my peers. It it was funny because like anyone who I wasn't in school with was super excited about it and like always wanted to talk to me about it. But people who I was in school with, I think there was a little bit of jealousy, and also I was very shy. I was extremely shy, which is weird because
That is a weird dichotomy.
on
Like,
camera I was fine.
Yeah.
Like I could get on stage and interact with the adults on the crew or the director or whatever, and even my fellow actors, and was totally fine, not shy at all. But in school I was shy, and so I didn't find out until I was actually like my 10th high school reunion, 10-year reunion, where a couple of people who had been like super mean to me in high school, like, yeah, we thought that you were so quiet because you thought you were better than everyone else. And I was like, no, I was just scared.
It's a very different environment than your
Really
work
shy.
environment.
Totally different.
Yeah.
And kids can be cruel.
yes, they can.
But no, I still have some great friends from growing up. Like my best friend from first grade who I grew up with, and we went to high school together also. And he's always been super supportive of my acting career and everything else. But it was a little tough. I mean, I still loved being in the industry and acting. Loved that aspect of it. But yeah, it wasn't easy as a kid.
So I'm interested to learn how, you made that bridge between acting in the creative world and your businesses. What are some of the commonalities, or how did that happen?
Yeah, that's a good question and a very hard question to answer because some of it just kind of like randomly happened. Because I have always naturally just been good academically and done well in school, teaching sort of became something that I could do, tutoring. So that was a way that I was supporting myself as an actor, and it was flexible and lucrative, and so I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed teaching. And so once I realized that like I could do that and support myself, and also a few years back when I realized that I didn't want to be making my money off of producing anymore, it's when I started my tutoring and education services company. Okay. So I do one-on-one tutoring, a lot of test prep. I also do academic subject tutoring and college counseling and like admissions advising. And I have a company for that now. It just made sense to start.
Okay, so that's number 2.
Yeah, so it made sense to start my own company doing that. And then with the acting, just because I've been doing it so long, I do some acting coaching as well. And I've also done a lot of voiceover work. I've done voiceovers for video games, for television and movies, for commercials, radio. So I've done a lot of different voiceover work. So because of my expertise in that, I started with a producer friend of mine, started a company doing voiceover coaching and voice work. And we specifically, actually, our main focus is what's called Loop Group. Which for people who aren't familiar with the post-production end of the film industry.
Yeah.
I am not.
Yeah.
So enlighten me.
So Loop Group, or also known as Group Walla, is all of the background voices that you hear in a film or a TV show. When a project is being filmed, the only people who have mics on them are the leads, the lead actors. All of that background noise that you hear, whether somebody's out at a restaurant or in a bar, or even just walking down the street, those background voices are recorded months later in the studio.
Interesting.
And what you do is you bring in a group of actors, professional actors, and they watch clips from the film, and they have microphones set up in the room, and you try to match what you think someone on the street might have been saying, or someone at the bar or in the restaurant might have been saying at that moment. And it's just like really mundane conversation that you would have in the background at a place like that, and that is how they fill in the sound design in the background of the film.
And I'm guessing it's small groups, and do you what's a big size group you may have? There are 50 people in there, or?
No.
They kind of layer it?
Yeah, they layer it. So what you'll do is the same group of people will do several different conversations, and then they'll layer it all in, and you can't tell that it's the same 12 people,
Okay.
let's say.
That's so cool.
So anywhere from like 4 to like, at most, I would say like 12 or 15 people.
Okay.
And yeah, they just keep layering it in the background, and it sounds like a huge crowd.
I always thought it was just like B-roll footage, like they would just go out and, film people in the street and just, record that kind of stuff. Like, that's so interesting to hear that it's, everything's fake. Oh my God.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's so sad. Oh, I feel so jaded now.
Well, funny thing is, indie projects, really independent stuff, they still mostly get their sound on location.
Okay.
Like you were saying, they'll just like record people talking, and it's actually the real people talking in the background, or they'll like record it on site. But big budget projects, they can do it in post.
Well, the other thing too is like if you're recording people speaking, they have to sign release forms and things like that, right?
Yeah, they all, I mean, if you can do it with the same 12 people for the entire film, as opposed to every single scene, you need new people and big
that makes sense.
It's a lot more of a hassle if you're having to get releases from every single person who's now being heard. And also, this is the other thing with like the unions and with background versus like actual lead talent, is if you speak on camera, you are officially considered a principal actor, which means you have to be paid at the principal day rates. Whereas if you're in the background and you're not speaking, you're an extra or background actor, and the rate that they have to pay you is significantly lower. It's like
that makes sense.
1/10 almost of what the principal day rate is. So because of that, they can only pay 12 people for a voiceover studio session after the fact, as opposed to hundreds of people over the course of the film. That saves a ton of money. But like I said, indie projects, because they're often not paying their background actors at all, they'll just do it on location when they're filming and get people to sign releases, because they can't afford to do the post-production recording.
Yeah, see, this is what's fascinating to me, that we talk a lot about business ownership, entrepreneurship. There's a million ways to get it, right? Like, we didn't even know that this existed, and yet it's here, and you are acting on it, and
people make money
creating revenue stream.
Yeah.
Like, that's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's fun.
So, elephant in the room. Biggest thing that we stuck to on your resume, of course, is the fact that you were in Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Yes.
And being an 80s baby, that is very exciting for me. So I got to ask you about that and what it was like, and
we need to know.
Yeah, like we're dying to know a little bit.
So I starred in an episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark that was called The Tale of the Silent Servant, and it was about this scarecrow that comes to life.
Oh man, I think I know what episode you're talking about too.
Yeah, my character's name was Jared, and he was a little bit of a jerk. He was very much into baseball and accidentally broke a window, and then had to get
as you do as a kid in the movies in the 90s, right?
Exactly. And so he commands the scarecrow to start like fixing and doing things for him, and doesn't realize that the scarecrow like comes to life and actually starts doing it. Well, he realizes it once the things start getting done, he didn't do that himself. But then what he doesn't realize is that once a command is given, it cannot be undone.
Ooh.
So he makes this like offhanded remark about how he wants to like, oh, he wishes he could, kill whoever took his baseball glove, and the scarecrow hears it and starts to go after the person. So then he and his cousin have to stop it.
So cool. It's like they just don't make good TV like that anymore. No, that's very exciting. But no, I mean, you've had a very, very, very career in like the entertainment industry. So what are some of the highlights? What are some of the things, like what was something that was the most exciting for you? Because I mean, at this point, you're probably very jaded to the industry. So you're like, okay, cool, what's next? But like, what was something that you're like, okay, this is kind of cool actually?
Honestly, the only part of the industry that I get jaded by is the business side of it.
Yeah.
The actual performance and on-set acting side of it, I don't think I'll ever get jaded by. Every time I'm on set, I love it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's such a passion for me, and it's just something that I love so much. So I've had so many great experiences that I remember pretty clearly, even though I was 4 when I started, not even 4 when I started, but like I did a Cheerios commercial when I was little where I got to actually wear a real NASA astronaut suit, and it was one of the suits that they had for the monkeys because
it was
the only suit that would fit a kid.
So now you have free Cheerios for life?
Yeah, that's not how it works.
Should put that in the contract.
Yeah, right that in
I
there.
did, however, do a Twix commercial where they gave me a case of Twix at the end of the commercial.
That's like gold to
so
a child.
that's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I worked with Ellen Burstyn, and she was incredible. Ellen Burstyn, Megan Mullally, and Elaine Stritch on a project. It was called the Ellen Burstyn Show. It was about 4 generations under one roof. The great grandmother was Elaine Stritch, grandmother was Ellen Burstyn, the mom was Megan Mullally, and I played the son. And that was like an amazing experience working with those actors are at the top of their craft and just incredible to work with. I also worked on, I co-starred in a made-for-TV film with Kirk Douglas, and that was an amazing experience too.
Mountaintop
Working with
experience.
him, I mean, he's a legend in the industry.
Yeah.
So I've just been so lucky to have these experiences, and I remember them and cherish them.
Yeah.
So I think we got 3 of your businesses, if I'm not mistaken. There's one more that we're missing, right?
Okay, so, well, one of the businesses I mentioned was my tutoring and education services
Yeah.
company, which I'm just actually launching a new company for that with 2 new business partners that we just started up this fall, and we're building it. We're gonna be launching our website soon, and that's called Maximum Potential Education.
I like it.
So thank you. That's gonna be launching soon. My other business, so I've got the 3 businesses: Intimation Productions, Loop Group NYC, and Maximum Potential Education. And then the other business that's not actually my business, but it's just something I'm very much involved in, is film festival screening and work. So
Nice.
I program and screen for a film festival called the Lighthouse International Film Festival
Okay.
that takes place every June on Long Beach Island, New Jersey. And that our submissions are open now.
And it's June 4th through the 7th, correct, this year?
This year, yeah,
Okay.
it's June 4th through the 7th. It's usually the first or second weekend in June.
Okay.
And submissions are currently open on Film Freeway or through our website.
Tell us a little bit more about the film festival. What is the
Sure.
premise?
So,
Who's involved?
So Lighthouse has a lot of different categories to it. We have our features, our shorts, our episodics, which are like, series, web series, or hopefully they will be television series at some point. These days it's interesting because a lot of times series get made and people aren't even intending to put them on TV.
Yeah, they go to Amazon.
They go to- yeah, exactly. It's all streaming stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we do a lot of that. We have also in the past had virtual reality components to the festival. But that festival, I actually started attending it as a filmmaker. I submitted a couple of my films that got into the festival over a couple of years, and had such an amazing time attending the festival that I basically said to the people who started the festival, hey, how can I keep coming back every year? And they're like, well, I want to help us with screening and programming. So that's why I continue working with that festival. And then I also screen for South by Southwest now as well.
Nice.
Which I've been attending that festival as well, and just the quality of the films that are there, incredible. And we've been getting that same quality of film actually now at Lighthouse as well. Lighthouse is in its 12th, I think actually this will maybe be the 13th year.
Okay.
South by's been around for a while. But this past year at Lighthouse, we had some films that have gone on to get theatrical release, like Peanut Butter Falcon played, and some of the films have gotten nominated by the Academy, and so we've had a good group of films that have come through the festival.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Have to check it out.
Yeah.
So bringing it back to the beginning a little bit, I don't
Sure.
think we found out, are you from Brooklyn, born and raised, or where are your roots?
Super random. I was born in Wisconsin.
What are you doing over here?
But then,
Staying warm?
Not really.
Actually,
Warmer.
it was almost 70 degrees a couple days ago.
Yeah,
January. That makes
Not
sense.
okay, but.
But yeah, and then Wisconsin, and then Queens, and then 2 hours north up in northwestern Connecticut, and then Philadelphia, and then back to Brooklyn. But my dad's side of the family is the Brooklyn and Queens side of the family. So I spent a lot of time in Brooklyn and Queens.
Where were you at in Philly?
I lived in West Philly for 5 years. That was where I was going to college.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I have some roots in Philly too. I was there for about 10 years before I moved to New York, so yeah.
Yeah, I love Philly.
It's very similar to New York in a lot of ways, but extremely different, totally different at the same time.
I think it's highly underrated, especially because it's so close to New York, so people are like, oh, well, I'll just go to New York. But Philly has an awesome food scene, music scene, art scene.
Yep.
Like there's a lot going on in Philly.
There definitely is. And it's not something that's like hidden either, like it's part of the culture,
Yeah.
you know, like it's hard to miss it when you go to Philly. So it's
Definitely.
weird that like people underestimate it so much, but yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Small world is something in common. So we went over your 4 businesses, we talked about your experience in the entertainment industry. What else do you do? Like what else do you do when you're not doing all of these businesses and acting and running the world basically?
So I actually
You didn't
do
even know,
more.
do you?
No,
I was like-
it's like how do I fit? I'm like, how do I juggle this up? I actually also through like some of my businesses, I do like freelance proofreading and text editing as well. That's like one of the side gigs through the tutoring and education services business. And that also I just love proofreading. Who says that?
So you're like the human version of that little paperclip, you know, that you stick on
That paperclip was so annoying though, and he's not annoying, so they're not.
Try not to get too
That Microsoft paperclip was like, he was like the dog in
Go
the
away,
duck hunt.
sometimes, yeah.
Go away.
The dog in duck hunt that you wanted to like shoot when he was laughing at you because you couldn't kill the ducks. Like yeah, he was that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so I do that, but I mean, for fun, I go to a lot of independent like film festivals. So I see a lot of films and I watch a lot of like episodic content as well. It's all for enjoyment, but also for my work. I love ping pong. I'm like ping pong fanatic, so that's something I do for fun. I also like love volunteering. That's something I do a lot of. I'm part of, so went to school in Philadelphia and wasn't really involved with the alumni society in my school for, I don't know, maybe 10 years after I got out. And then I said, I should probably, there are like 50,000 alumni from my university in the New York City area.
Yes.
So I should probably get involved with that. So I did, and so I'm actually now on the board of Penn NYC, which is the official umbrella organization of all Penn alumni in the New York City area. So I'm the chairperson of a group called Pentertainment for Penn alumni in the entertainment industry. And I also am really active in the community service committee, so I organize like meal delivery, meal service activities. I also occasionally do international volunteer trips. I've been going to, I haven't gone in the past couple years and really need to get back, but for like 10 years, I think I went 12 times down to Guatemala, either participating in or leading volunteer trips.
You're a true Renaissance man.
Yes, it's impressive. I'm like confused just thinking, listening to your schedule. Like, how do you have
I
time
need to
do
rewrite
all this
my New
stuff?
Year's resolutions now.
Yeah, be more active.
What I'm interested in, as an entrepreneur myself, you know, I see you have such diverse passions and work experience, and it seems like you're really successful at actionizing what you want to do. So I'd love to know, like, is that just part of your personality? Do you have any maybe suggestions for other people with their own businesses about kind of going for it? Because it seems like you just are a natural at that.
Well, my biggest suggestion is don't do as many things as I do. I think actually, even though I love doing all the different things that I do, I think focusing is actually really important. And for me, I'm not necessarily doing everything on that list of things at the same time. I'm trying to compartmentalize them and like I'll focus on one for a little while and then I'll focus on the other for a little while. So I do have a lot of things up in the air at the same time that I'm juggling, but I try to focus on one at a time. I also just try to like keep lists and like spreadsheets and like calendars of everything. 'Cause it's the only way I can possibly keep track.
I'm such a fan.
Yeah, so I've got like all of my schedule laid out on my calendar, on my computer, and like that's the only way I can possibly keep track of everything. And I also, in addition to putting like my appointments and meetings, and like auditions or whatever, I also have like my to-do items, not like big to-do items that I put on my calendar, and then I also have like a to-do list, and then I also have like on the computer, but then I also have like a paper to-do list with like
But do you color code?
the ones I do not color.
All right,
Gotta take it to the next level.
kick it up a notch, you know? No, that's really great. Is there anything else that you want to share with the audience? Like anything coming up on the horizon? You know, should we be on the lookout for you in any movies or anything?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a a lot of things coming up actually.
I'm not surprised.
I've got 2 different documentary projects that I'm working on right now, one of which is going to take a long time. So I won't tell you to look out for that because by the time it comes out, everyone will have forgotten about it. But one of the ones that's going to start coming out sooner is an educational series, like short form documentary series about alternative energy technology and clean energy. That was actually my research focus in college.
Nice.
And it's always been something I've been really interested in. So I'm combining my passion for film with my passion for education, putting those together and putting out this short form series, like 2 to 5 minute long episodes about how clean energy technology is being implemented and where it's used around the world.
That's so cool.
So I'm doing that. I also, a horror film that I acted in this past summer called The Unborn is going to be coming out. It's going to be streaming. I'm not exactly sure what platform it's going to be on.
The Unborn.
The Unborn.
Let me know the exact time that you appear on the screen, and I will watch those. But
Okay.
I don't know if I can make sense.
No, I love horror movies. I'll watch the whole thing.
I can't watch horror.
I can't watch how you're in the dark without being scared. I'm an adult.
What are grown-ups here, people?
I'll watch it for you.
Nice.
That's so funny.
The Unborn. Okay.
Yeah. And then apart from that, I just have all the different projects I'm working on. Like I've got 4 different short films that I'm working on right now that are in various stages of either post-production or pre-production. One that we're shooting in like 2 weeks. So a lot of work going on for that one right now. It's just, there's a lot going on.
So if people want to find you or follow you or keep in touch with you, what's your social media and suchery that they can keep in touch?
So several different social media. On Instagram, I'm at JesseRyan10.
Okay.
So JesseRyan10. That's my Instagram. Facebook, we're actually just launching, or we will be launching in the next week or 2, the Facebook page for Maximum Potential Education, which is just like facebook.com/Maximum Potential Education.
Okay.
Same thing with Loop Group NYC. We have a website, loopgroupnyc.com. We also have facebook.com/loopgroupnyc.
And can people go there to work with you and also hire you? That's just general
Absolutely.
contact?
Yeah. Okay. They're specific to those different industries. So
Of course.
if you want to contact me for tutoring, don't contact me through Loop NYC. Contact me through Maximum Potential Education.
Yeah.
I'm open to anyone contacting. It's fine too.
All right, you heard it here first, folks. Slide in the DMs if you want to. No, but thank you so much, Jesse, for being with us today and sharing all of your experience and some of your wisdom and insights on how you run 4 businesses and staying on top of all of it.
Yeah,
Definitely good information. Be on the lookout for you in The Unborn. I will watch the full movie, even though Kristen won't. I'm a horror junkie,
I'll keep
so
you on the
I'm
corner.
all about it. So you don't have to worry about that. But folks, we'll be back again with a brand new episode very soon. Make sure you keep it locked right here. Shout out to the folks behind the scenes that make this podcast possible, to Trendy Tripping for sponsoring, and WJMS Radio, of course, and to all those folks that tune in and listen and engage with us, and to the folks that reach out to us for their shot to chat with us and give their story to the audience. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys again next time. Thanks for tuning in, and Jesse, we'll see you on the big screen sometime.
Thanks for having me.
All right.